I apologize that yesterday's video didn't end so well. But, hopefully to make up for it. This is the original Final Fantasy, a really excellent game that anybody that's a true RPG fan classic would find good. Even though it has severe limitations, it was one of the first of its kind. And definitely one of the best RPGs ever made. There's only one problem with this game that makes it not incredibly great, and that's the fact that there is no auto target, so you always have to select what you want to fight. You can't just auto target the enemy. Once the enemy's dead, all your characters will attack the same enemy, so you always gotta divide up your attacks. And even though there's the black mage and the white mage in this game, they're really unnecessary unless you just want to guarantee survival. But before we progress anywhere, we gotta make sure we get everything from the first town, as in any RPG. Now for NES, this game had incredibly good music. Even for NES standards, the music in this game is classic and memorable. So, this game gets an A rating on the music for Nintendo. The graphics are really well done too in this game. I mean, this was definitely an NES masterpiece. Now you can see how much you need for a level up, but we're just trying to build up enough money to buy the first spells for the red mage we made. Now, the worst class in this game, I would say, is the black belt. If I had to pick a worst class in this game, it would probably be the black belt. They get good HP, but they can't equip shit, and even when they get a shitload of attacks, they don't do as much damage as a warrior guy with a weapon. Now, normally it's good to have a Thief on your team, because the Thief pretty much later on has almost a 100% run chance, which is actually really useful. So having a Thief on your team is actually badass for escaping. I've beaten this game with every single team combination. I even tried to beat it with 4 black mages, which sounds impossible, but it's doable. It's just incredibly difficult. It's easy at the start when you get the level 2 spells bombing everything, but later when you're going through long ass dungeons, it's ridiculously hard. But actually, I consider the easiest team to beat the game with is 4 fighters, because after a while you don't need healing at all, you can just run through shit. But the problem is there's not really enough high-end gear for all 4 fighters. But there's plenty of gear for 3 fighters. There's the Mursam, the Sun Sword, and all that. There's enough weaponry for 3 fighters. But you just run short of gear when it comes to 4 fighters. Unless you give a fighter the Soar Hammer, but that's almost a waste. Because Soar Hammer, even though it's strong, is still weak. Yeah, it is probably, to me, one of the most memorable games on the NES. Along with shit like Contra and Metroid and shit. But yeah, I figured since the last video I did was a complete failure for time restraints and choice of game, we'll go back to something classic for a bit and play one of the most classic RPGs of all time and play through it. Okay, let's get some magic. Yeah, it doesn't matter what class you are, you always need the same amount of XP to level up unless someone dies. Oh. There we go. Now I could learn the first elemental attack. Well, fuck it. We'll go ahead and learn the first elemental attack spell, even though it doesn't really matter with the red mage. Did I teach it to the wrong guy? No, we're good. Okay. Now we got everything from the first town. Now, this game does have a lot of exploration and backtracking. And the enemies get really strong really fast in this game, so you gotta be careful about how far you progress without being prepared. This is the first dungeon and the last dungeon, but we'll be coming back to that later. You know, the very first boss in the game is Garland, who became pretty famous in the Final Fantasy series. No, I'm just saying shit right now. I apologize. Yeah, for a first boss, he's not really all that tough. Yeah, that's one of the most annoying things about this game, are those bats in the dungeons. Anyway, now you get your quest to do the orb. They get the loot, which the loot comes in handy later in the game. I don't remember, is there any treasure in this castle? I don't remember. I don't think there is. I think it's just story and where to go or hints about the game. I know there's treasure later in the castle, but you need the mystic key to get it. Anyway, in RPGs you want to save often, so... And it even gives you information on how to turn the system off so you don't lose your saves. Anyway, we're ready to move on. Now, if you're using a red mage, you don't want to learn every spell and every spell group immediately, because once you promote the red mage, you could come back and get some very important spells that he can't learn immediately. And of course, that classic opening that would later become basically the cutscenes of modern RPGs. There you get a credit scroll. Once again, a really good effect at the start of the NES era. Now, before we head to the next town, we're gonna go up to Matreya's cave, or Matreya or Matoya, I forgot. But yeah, as soon as you cross that starting bridge is when the enemy suddenly take a jump in difficulty. Now, there's no reason to go up here at the very start, but we're doing it. And these wolves are pretty dangerous at the start because they're really fast. And the gray wolves can hit pretty hard. Now, instead of an item command in this game, you get the drink command, because the only items you can use in combat are the different potions. Which are only two of them, the antidote and the healing potion. At Matreya's cave, or whatever. Here you can get a couple of free items, and you'll find out about the crystal ball. Yeah, another thing, if you talk to the broom, it'll tell you a magic spell, push B select, which brings up the world map. So if you don't know how to use the world map, talk to the brooms in that cave and it'll tell you how to bring up the world map. Which will only be useful to you later when you have the airship and shit, so you can see where you're going. At the start, it doesn't matter, but later, being able to bring up the world map is very useful, so... This would actually be a good point to build up some levels if you really needed them. Because it is a long walk to the next town, and the fights do get harder from this point on. But we're going to try to make it to the next town without building up any levels. We should be able to make it. Because we're using a fairly strong team. Pretty much depends on how many of these wolves we run into, because those gray wolves are dangerous. welcome to the video. If you guys joined, hopefully you're having a good day. Weekend's coming up, so get to look forward to that. Iguanas are also dangerous at the start because they hit pretty hard. Yeah, sometimes you get unlucky on the fights. Sometimes you... And one of the main differences in this game is you don't get MP. You get just a certain number of castings that go up as you level up. MP was something that was added later in the Final Fantasy series. Here we are in the second town. Now this is where the building up starts getting a little bit more in depth, because in the second town there's so much stuff you gotta purchase. But before we do that building up, we gotta get the ship by talking to the pirate. What is it? Bicky, whatever his name is. Yeah, Bicky the pirate, and defeat his pirate crew. Which isn't too tough. There's just a lot of them. Now, one reason why I picked the team I did was because it's one of the easier teams to go through the game with at a reasonable pace. But it's also a good team, even though you could use any combination and get good results. Now we got the ship. Which, in the NES version, there was a build-up trick to fight the Kaizokus, or whatever they're called, which are worth an incredible amount of money at the start of the game. Every time you save and hit reset, the very first battle on the water would always be a battle of the Kaizokus that were worth a shitload of money, so that was a good trick for quickly building up money at the start. As you can see, we got a lot of building up to do in this town, because we gotta buy all these short swords and stuff. And sometimes you want to rearrange your items just so you can keep your inventory tidy, but it's unnecessary. But yeah, there's a lot to build up for in this town. So this is part of the game where it starts slowing down, because all these classic RPGs have build-up spots. And you get to the first build-up spot in this one pretty quick, which is basically right now. Now you can choose to build up on land or in the water. I prefer building up in the water because the fights are a little bit easier. Believe it or not, the fights in the water are a tad bit easier. So I apologize, the next part of this video is going to be a little bit slower because we gotta do this shit to get the short swords and stuff we need. That way your hit rate improves as you level up. So even though your hit rate is terrible at the start of the game, later in the game it improves greatly. Anyway, welcome to the video. If you guys joined, hopefully y'all are having a good day. This weekend's coming up. And hopefully y'all enjoy this video. We're gonna get as far as we can before I run out of time. Now, if you use the correct tank, if you use the correct team in this game, you can beat this game when your guys get about level 25. But the team we're using, I don't know what level it'll be at the end. Maybe higher, maybe lower. But yeah, about level 25 is normally when you're ready for the last place in this game. Just to be honest, yeah, about level 25 is when you're ready for the end place. Yeah, but the graphics on the enemies, even though they're all drawn or pixelated, but they're all really well done, and everything about this game. It's hard to think of something wrong with this game, except for maybe the encounter rate could be a bit high sometimes. And that most of the magic spells have little value. Other than the heal spells and the elementals, there are only a few spells in this game that actually have value. And the heal spells kind of random in value because they can heal either a whole lot or very little. So, yeah, the spells in this game don't have that much value, but they can still be useful. I apologize, I gotta go AFK for a second. I gotta turn the fan on. It's fucking hot as hell in here. Be right back. I apologize, I had to turn the fan on. It was ridiculously hot in here. But it is also the first Final Fantasy to introduce the elementals, which later became way more notable in Final Fantasy IV or Final Fantasy II, depending on if you're playing it in America or wherever. Because the whole purpose of this game is to defeat the 4 elementals that hold the power of the orbs, and then use the power of the orbs to break the seal on that dungeon you started in, where he fought Garland, to head to the final area where he battled Chaos. That's probably going to be the last spoiler I give. Even though by now most of y'all probably already know the story of the game. I'm sure the majority of y'all have played it. You know, I can get one more short sword, so we'll probably head back to town and get it. Once we get the 4 short swords, we'll be able to move on. That's why I make sure we get the swords we need. The armor, we can get the armor in the Elf Town. That's why I make sure we at least have the weapons that are required to progress. I hate flies. Now let's go ahead and get the next sword. Somebody else has a short sword. Now, the reason why I'm not buying the Warriors the hand axe is because even though the hand axe is supposedly stronger, the hand axe has a lower hit rate, which means you miss a lot more. So the short sword, I think, is overall superior to the hand axe because it doesn't have the, detriment to your hit rate. Because let's face it, your hit rate is bad enough without having some kind of minus to it. And sometimes if the NPCs get in your way, you just keep pushing against them and force them to move. But now we just need 2 more of those swords. If we can fight some Kaizoku, it'll go a shitload quicker. But all we're getting are these fucking Sahagin fights. Getting lucky with the hit rate right now. And hit rate can sometimes be a pain in the ass, but like I said, later it gets much better. I even like on the bland battle screen they try to add a little bit of shit to it by like the clouds and the sea up there, depending on where your location is. They still try to add a little bit of scenery to the, black battle screen. Yeah, that was an incredibly worthwhile fight at the start, but burned up all the magic. So now we gotta go back to the end. But yeah, that's why fights in the water are so worth it, because you get a large amount of XP and money. And the fights are easier than land. Because at this point on the land battles, you have to worry about status effects and all that bullshit. Some of the land fights are worth a lot more than the water fights at this point, but you have to, like I said, constantly worrying about people getting paralyzed and poisoned. Even though in the sea you still have to worry about paralysis from these odd eyes. And odd eyes aren't even worse that much. Odd eyes are a pain in the ass. But luckily paralysis doesn't last that long. But if your entire team gets paralyzed, then it is a game over. Kind of like a Dragon Warrior if your entire team gets numbed. So, you do have to worry about that. Okay. Paralysis does not change your team formation. Some status effects will alter your team formation. I think poison is the one that I'm thinking of. almost ready to move on. We almost have enough to get bolts of the swords we need. Like I said, I'll worry about the armor when we get to the elf village. Because the next upgrade of sword after the short sword is going to take a while, because the next upgrade of the sword is the silver sword, which costs 4,000. So it's going to be a long time before we get those upgraded, but we can at least have the short swords. Because yeah, it's going to take a while to get the upgrade from the short sword because of how expensive it is. But we can at least get the swords we need. That way we'll be prepared for the shit to come. And then flies go away. Never leave your door open when it's hot outside because you get riddled with flies, which are very aggravating. Now we may run from this fight. This fight's not even going to really be worth killing, so we may run from it. Or we just try to kill it and hope nobody gets hurt. Nope. Alright, we're fine. I don't know what I was going to say there for a second anyway. I know the fights in this game can be tedious and boring, but for old school RPG, you gotta expect that. That's probably the reason why RPGs aren't so popular, is because of the tediousness of them. I can understand why RPGs aren't as popular as other type games, mainly because of the constant having to slow your progress down and build up. But that also makes them excellent casual games. Because if you just have a lot of time you want to kill, and you don't want to play anything like, you know, covert ops or shooter game, then these are excellent games to just kind of casually play and, you know, just kill some time on. Drink a few beers. RPGs were always about the story in the games, or at least later they were. In the early days, they were more about the challenge, and there was just story that went along with them, but later RPGs became more about the story and making it through the game so you can watch the story unfold. But these early RPGs didn't really have a lot of story, so it was more just for enjoying the game and the atmosphere of it. And what little story the game did have, you could read along with, and, you know, at least know what the hell's going on in the world. World of the game, that is. got everything we need. Now we just need to get a little bit of money for the inn, and we're all set to move on. So one more fight so we have money for the inn. Hit rate sucks at the start. But we're heading into town to buy the last of the swords we need, and we can move on. I just wanted to fight so we can get to the end. Now we can buy the swords we need and move on. We can come back for the armor later. I'd rather get the armor from the elf town as fast as possible, even though there's some good armor here. We might buy what armor we can afford here, but that's for all the cigars. We like it. Let's go ahead and see what armor we can buy here. I'm not worried about the spells in this town right now, because I don't even think he can learn. I don't even think the red mage can learn temper until he promotes. Well, yeah, that's the best spell the red mage can learn in this town is temper. But we can at least see what armor we can afford. The iron armor would be really nice. But you see how expensive it is. I don't think red mages can equip wooden shield, can they? I guess we'll find out. But we can at least buy the accessory pieces. And we can at least buy the accessory pieces. Yeah, that's why I said Red Mage can't equip the wood shield, but it only costs 15, so it was worth trying. And now we got the accessory armor. And we need to come back for the iron armor. So I'm trying to keep this relatively fast paced. When we're building up for the silver sword and shit, we can get the rest of that shit. Now, at first it seems like this game goes really slow, but once you start doing the elemental dungeons, it actually goes pretty quick. Once you get the airship, you go through the game at a relatively fast pace. These are the enemies you want to fight on the water. They're not that strong, but they're worth a lot of money. Wow, we're already at the part where we're getting 2 hits. Yeah, they're worth 120 a piece, which is really, really good. Like I said, if you're playing the NES version, there's a trick to always fight them. And here you can get some good upgrades, but like I said, they're incredibly expensive. Like if you had a Thief, you'd want to buy him the saber, but everyone on the team I have could use a silver sword. And you see how expensive those are. So it'll be a while before we get all those. Whoops. And see, you can buy the same armor in this town as you could in the other one. And of course this has the cap, which he needs. And iron shields. Which are the upgrades of the shields we just purchased. That's why I didn't care about the armor in that one town. Because in this town you buy the same armor plus the better armor. That's why I only cared about the weapons, because this town has way better shit for armor-wise. And not only does this town have the hidden magic shops where you can buy the level 4 magic, it also has that NES joke they put into it. where one of these tombstones, yeah, here lies Erdrick, you know, Erdrick from Dragon Warrior. Which is one of those NES jokes they just threw in there. But if you follow the town around the north, you'll get to the magic shops that sell the level 4 spells, which we're not going to worry about that for a while. But this is why you don't want to really fight on land, because the enemies are strong and they do shit like poison you and stuff. So while we build up for the iron armor and the copper ring and all that, it's a lot better to fight in the water because you don't have to worry about status effects. And if you're lucky, you'll get into a fight with the like 5 or 6 Kaizokus and get a shitload of money all at once. I hate smoking cigars, but yeah, we know you have more benefits on building up on land because you get more worthwhile fights a lot more often. It's a lot more pain in the ass. It's better to build up in the water because the fights are normally quicker and like I say, you don't have to deal with poison and all that garbage. So yeah, we need the iron armor. Plus we need to buy some items, because the next place we gotta go is the cave to retrieve the crown. Which has a lot of enemies that enjoy poisoning you and other shit, so we need to make sure we have some cures and some heals since we're not using a white mage. Fucking flies. You can already start seeing what the difference of having those short swords does. That's why it's important to equip them with everyone you can. And of course, you don't have to build up for as many depending on the team you pick. I always make 2 people attack the odd eye just to guarantee I kill it, because odd eyes are a pain in the ass and they're not worth anything. So it may seem like a waste of an attack. Technically it is, but yeah, I just want to guarantee those assholes die so they don't end up paralyzing the entire team. Like I said, we don't have to build up for all the gear in that town. The only thing I really want to get are the iron armors. But we really don't even have to get all the iron armors, to be honest. What we really just need are the items for the dungeon we're about to be in. I just want the iron armors because of the boss fight in that dungeon. Since I don't have the lit spell, since I don't have a caster with all the lit spells. Because the boss in that dungeon would be a pain in the ass, but if you had lit 2, it's easier. It's not technically a boss, but I consider it a boss because it's enemies you normally don't fight yet. The Mind Flayers / Octopus Mages that can instant death you, and they have ridiculous hit rates. But the main thing I want to do is get some cures and heals, because we'll need those. But all the stuff we've done so far, we're going to have to backtrack once we get the elf key. Once we get that magic key, we'll be backtracking all these places to collect the treasures. Because there are a lot of treasures that we didn't get because we don't have the key. Now, I don't know if you can fight a fight greater than 5 or 6 of those guys. Because I've never found a fight more than 5 or 6 of those at one time. So I doubt you'll ever encounter a group of 9 Kaizoku, but if you ever did, that'd be worth a shitload of cash. Now we're getting lucky. Yeah, they're easy. They're not worth a lot of XP, but they're worth a lot of money. And when you're building up, that's what makes them worth it. But we'll be returning to these towns to buy magic later. Without either a black mage and a white mage, the magic would be more important, but we don't need the magic as badly. We'll still buy the magic we need, we're just not focusing on it because we really don't need it as much with this team. What the hell was that? It's a goddamn wasp. God damn it. I hate wasps. I hate wasps. Hopefully it decides to fly out the window. I hate doing this review because I gotta beat the shit out of a wasp. God damn it! Go away, you fuck! I'm gonna have to find something to smack that wasp down with so that it keep bugging me. It's okay, Peter, it's a wasp. Been stung in the head by wasps and all sorts of shit. I'd rather not be stung by a wasp while I'm trying to do a video. That would ruin my day pretty quick. I gotta keep my eye on that fucking wasp. One second, I gotta take care of this. Be right back, I gotta handle this wasp problem. Be right back, sorry about that. I'm trying to get stung by a goddamn wasp right now. My apologies, I had to get rid of that wasp before it stung me in the head and pissed me off. I was too distracted. It does not feel good to be stung by a fucking wasp. It really doesn't. I'm not gonna have something like that ruin this video. Me being in it ruins it enough. Anyway, back to the game. Okay, we got enough for 2 iron armors. We just need enough for the last iron armor. Now, I'm not too worried about the copper ring, because we'll get a free copper ring in the dungeon we're going to. Here in a minute we may just say fuck it, get what we can get, move on. Well, we almost have what we need, so fuck it, we'll just go ahead and get it. Once we get the iron armor, we just need to build up a little bit of money for supplies, and then we'll be done with building up bullshit. Yeah, this is one of the longest build-up parts in the game. But once we get past this, like I said, the rest of the game goes pretty quick. There are only a couple parts in the game that require significant building up, and this just happens to be the longest part, especially if you're using a white mage and a black mage, because you would also have to build up for the magic they would require to be useful. But we don't have to worry as much about the magic, so therefore the build-up is actually a lot faster. Now we need the iron armors. Oh yeah, these buildings with the heart, that's where you go to cure your status and revive people. Now we just need a few items. Oh, yeah. And cabins would be nice to have as well. So we'll buy at least one cabin, then we need to build up some money for a couple of supplies, and we'll be done. We just need to buy up some piers and hills and we'll be finished. So we just need to get a little bit more cash. But it'll also get us another level. Gotta love the terrible whistling. Well, let's get some item money and then we'll be done. So you want to make sure you're prepared. It's okay, Pira. I know, it sucks. It's hot. It's hot and it's insect season. Yeah, not fun. here. Once we get a little bit of item money, we'll be done with the building up. The best restoring item on the travel in this game is the house. But the houses are expensive, so at the start of the game, cabins are good enough. Get some money to buy a few cabins and some piers and all that, we'll be good to go. Where'd it go? Oh no. Hat. And there is no upgraded healing item. The heal is the only healing item. There is no upgraded healing item. I don't believe there's a Sage's Stone style item in this game. I think that's just Dragon Warrior. I don't remember off the top of my head. But I don't believe there is a Sage's Stone item in this game. The majority of the healing you do in this game is outside of combat. Even your heal spells are mostly used outside of combat in this game. Oops. Didn't mean to do all that shit. Anyway, we're about to go into town and buy the shit we need to move on. Imagine if I was building up for those silver swords right now. Which I'm not doing because I don't need to this early, and it would take forever. One more decent money fight and we'll move on. If there was more than one, it would be a decent money fight. I give it one more fight, and then we'll move on. One more fight, that's it. Then we'll move on. Really? One more fight, that's it. One more fight, we'll move on. Where's the next? Ah, there it is. Okay, there's the last fight, then we're gonna move on. Make sure they die. Okay, now let's move on. Get the items we need and move on. Now, instead of buying the copper ring like I probably should, or buying a level 2 elemental, and buying the items we need for the dungeon. Because, like I said, we can come back for that shit. Once we start searching everything, we'll have plenty of money to buy everything we need. Buy a cabin. Make sure we have plenty of piers. One more pier. Then load up on heals. Okay. I think I already rested. So, we're good. Yeah, even if you don't rest in the end, you can still save it. There we go. Asps. Very dangerous. Google Plus. Indiana Jones reference. I don't know, terrible, but I did it. Anyway, now that we got the items we need, let's head to the dungeon to get the crown. So by the time we get out of this dungeon, we should have enough money to buy whatever we're missing. Oh yeah, you gotta go up and over there, forgot. So if you're still with me in the video, we're done with the building up and we're actually moving on. For those that are still watching at this point. I hate fighting Geists and shit. Because they love to use Paralyze. Now, if I had a white mage and the harm spell, or if I learned Fire 2, they wouldn't be that big a deal. But you notice how the enemies get a shitload of surprise attacks on you as well? See, efforts like this would be a lot easier if I had a Seif. But I do not have a Seif either, so running is kind of a 50-50 instead of an almost guaranteed chance. I gotta kill these Grimps. Anyway, don't worry, we'll search this entire place out later. But for the sake of this mission, we're just here to get the crown and whatever treasures we find on the way. Getting a surprise attack by these guys is always a 50-50 whether your entire team's gonna get paralyzed or not. I fucking hate that. But NES is really good at screwing you, so you gotta be really careful. And there's sometimes nothing you can do about it, except hope you can get away. But this might be one of the times where I get screwed over. This is why you buy the items that you need, because you never know where you're going to be thrown in the bullshit. Like what is happening to me at the moment. Oh, goddamn. Yeah, there's one of the dungeons we'll be coming back to later for treasures. Once we get the key. I mean, we could get some of the treasures on the way, but... Oh, gargoyles. Are those the ones that petrify? I hope they're not the ones that petrify, because I don't have any softs. No, I don't think they're the ones that petrify. So that's the ones that I didn't buy with any softs. But we'll be coming back to loot this dungeon later. Ah, werewolves, damn it. Fucking werewolves. Poison is one of those things that completely screws up your team. Got a free house. But we're not here for the treasure right now. We're here for the crown. Mucks and shit like that are a pain in the ass because they're strong against regular attacks and they hit really hard. I do not like mucks and oozes and shit either. Here we go. Now, cross my fingers, there are only 2 of them. Because if there's 5 of them, I might be fucked. Ah, good. There's only 2 of them. Because this fight is very hard, especially if you get 5 of them. Because they can instant death you with their regular attack. And they hit really strong. Yeah, this fight is a fight that can really screw you if you're not careful. Those mind-flaying octopus mages. Now, as you see, it's really worth it. That fight is incredibly worth it. But I mean, you can build up on that fight, but it really screws you if you're not careful. Oh, we'll come back to loot this place later. We just came here for the crown right now. Oh. Ah, the crawl's paralyzed, I forgot. Well, we got what we came for. Now we just need to get the hell out of this dungeon for now. And we'll come back and search it once we got the key. They're scums. Once again, I don't like fighting them right now, especially when I don't have the magic to murder them. I even like fighting them less. We already looted all that. Get that free money and then head out. Let's get the hell out of here. Like I said, we'll search this place after we get the magic key. And bones love to hit critical hits, but they're not that strong. correct. They're also not worth it. Well, this is one of many dungeons we'll be revisiting. Ah, fucking shadows. Shadows are also a pain in the ass. Unfortunately, that went well. Now that we got the crown, we can save it. Use one of the cabins we purchased. And head to old Astos, the dark elf. That will once again be a predominant feature in the Final Fantasy series, as in Final Fantasy II when you're in the Magnetic Cave. Of course, I guess surprise attack was the goddamn werewolf. I don't like the werewolves because they poison. Werewolves aren't much stronger than the grey wolves, but werewolves are a pain in the ass because they poison. The main thing I don't like about poison in this game is it swaps around your order and you have to rearrange your characters every time someone gets poisoned, which is aggravating as hell. That's the main reason I don't like poison, is you have to constantly rearrange your team every time you get poisoned. Now, Astos, I consider the first real boss in this game, because unlike Garland, he can actually do some bad stuff, and if you're not careful, your entire team can get wiped out almost in an instant if he uses the right spell and it works. But anyway, use the other cabin we bought to save it here, so we're saved right here just in case the fight goes wrong. Because this fight could easily go wrong. So, let's find out. Not getting lucky on the multi-hits. But at least I got critical. I knew that shit was gonna happen. This fight was being prolonged. God damn it, give me some 2 hits. There we go. It's probably too late. He's probably gonna cast Fire 2 again. Nope, Lit 2. I really don't want to accept that. I really don't want to accept that. That's aggravating as fuck. I guess we accept it. Yeah, we'll use that loot later. But now we need to go back to town. Because 2 of my guys are dead, but I've already saved it, so we gotta accept that fate. But it could have been worse. Like I said, it could have got wiped out by him casting shit like Rub and XXXXX and all that shit. So let's get back to town, revive our dead, and just pick up the pieces. That was aggravating. Rearrange our team. Actually, I think we're going to leave the team as is, because it really doesn't matter which fighter's in the lead, and since that other fighter's a level higher now, we'll leave the team in this new arrangement. Oh yeah, we found that extra iron armor, I forgot. Yep, now we got all the gear from this town. now we can return the crystal. Now we can return the crystal. So we can get the key. Now we talk to her. And we get the herb to cure the prince, who will give us the magic key, which will then cause us to travel the world, researching all the dungeons we've already been through. But there's a lot of backtracking in old RPGs. How do you do, dogs? Well, we're about to be at a really good build-up spot. Once we get the magic key, there's an excellent build-up spot for money, which will allow us to build up for all the spells and everything else from that town. So we are about to be at a very good build-up spot. Now we got the Mystic Key. So now we can loot every single treasure chest in the world, starting with this castle. Now, most of these treasures we could probably sell. But, yeah, most of these treasures we're gonna get, we could probably end up selling, like that silver hammer. I don't have a white mage on my team, so I really don't need that silver hammer. But we could sell that for a significant price. And so on and so forth. There's going to be a bunch of treasures we're going to acquire in the near future that we can sell, and those sold items will also help us buy the stuff we need from this town. But saying all that, I'm sorry, but I'm out of time for this episode. But I'll have another episode tomorrow, maybe even continue this game if you want me to. But until next time, if you like my videos, please follow and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. So until then, take it easy and have fun.